Hello and welcome to From the Mic Stand. We are down at Mush once again and we are live on Artist Echoes. Now on the show each week we like to interview some of our favourite up and coming artists, and this week is no different. On the show this week we're joined by Leon the Pig Farmer. Hello mate, how's it going?
I'm alright mate, you?
Yeah, good. How's your day been?
Great, chilled out.
Yeah. Oh, sounds nice. And for those people who haven't heard that much about you before, do you want to tell our viewers a bit about yourself?
I suppose as opposed to a poet, I'm more of a spoken word artist. I've been performing for about 6 months now.
Yeah.
After the back of writing journals, and it just accumulated in, sort of culminated in me getting on a stage and performing, and it's took off from there really. And I still continue to write and perform as we speak.
Brilliant. I think the best way to introduce a new artist to everyone is with a live performance. So what are we going to start with?
I'm going to start with one called Diamond Pleaser, and it was one of the first ones I wrote, and it's basically about juggling identities. It's a connotation towards things like Facebook, that you put on this persona for people to see, and it's not always what's underneath really. And at the end of it, I had a meltdown, which is as the journey starts when I started writing spoken word.
Yeah, great. Whenever you're ready.
Alright, cheers, thanks. Yeah, I'm Leon, and this one is called Diamond Pleaser. There's smiles on all three faces, and it looked like I held all aces. There was truth and torture hid behind, and it never showed in public signs. I was a jack of clubs in years gone by, and a jack of hearts till the day I die. Avoid the joker, deal your hand, and I still remain the one-man band. I've been called a king, I let it shine. There's no need to own or take as mine. I've got a queen to hold, but no jewels to keep. And the nights I have can make me weep. So I count 1 to 10 on both my hands, but 4 exist in high demand. A shuffle done, take what you're given. There's no room for error, cause life's for living. And players take cards, life deals him, and I must decide which play will win. A spade's a spade, do I call their bluff, and do I cash in chips when things get rough? And have I come up trumps and forced a hand, and do I follow suit or place demands? Do I stack the deck, load the dice? Because poker faced I ain't that nice. I can lay these cards upon the table, I need this trip to keep me stable. Can I find that ace tucked up my sleeve? The cards are stacked against, but I still believe. So again, I count 1 to 10 on both my hands, but 4 exist in high demand. Shuffle's done, I take what I'm given. There is no room for error, because life is for living. Cheers, that's the first one, Leon, and that's Diamond Pleaser. Okay, the next one I'm going to do it's called I'm Nuts with Guts, and I'm going to follow that on with one called Toolbox. So this is me basically finding out that I've got post-traumatic stress disorder and other journeys through mental health, and I'm trying to talk about all the people that have helped me along the way. Stress, I must profess, denial was a major weakness. I was a dumping ground, a guy so sound, cause sorting the shit is where I'm found. Depression, I just tried to press on and I ran from it in a 10-pint session. The family forgotten and I felt so rotten, and inside the pit, I'm at the bottom. Anxiety, it hid inside of me. There was a long-time suppression I refused to see, with night sweats and emotional debt and scenarios invented, they're always a threat. And Papa Tango Sierra Delta, well, here comes the helter-skelter. No let out, I need to step out, and worst of all, it's why I black out. But stress, now I'm blessed. I'm getting removed from the awful mess. I'm flying alone, but now I'm in pole, and my boots are hung up for those supporting roles. And depression, yeah, I've got a confession. I murdered the beast and I taught it a lesson. A pride restored, a smile so broad, I confront the past, it's no longer ignored. And anxiety, it's got no time for me. My eyes wide open, now I can see. My sleep's embraced, my muscles don't ache, my teeth don't clench, I'm not paranoia laced. And Papa Tango Sierra Delta, the doctor gave me pills and have made me better. Because pictures, yes, flashbacks less, and the memories are out and they're not repressed. Because I've also got that toolbox, and this is my toolbox. Because I was asked, do I have one to help me through the pain? And I replied, instruments of all kind, they're all different, none the same. Yes, there's pills and lavender that facilitate dormant nights. There's country walks, there's audio files, yeah, they antagonise the frights. But tools that I depend on are those of flesh and blood, and the ones that lift you when you're down and they drag from darkened woods. There's those that raised and nurtured me, provide a place of calm. There's those that bold talk straight to me and shield me from the harm. There's those that open hearts up so mine doesn't have to bleed, and those supporting me abstinence and they don't question me need. There's those that let me bend an ear and rant on any whim, and those that forgive everything of guilt, of rage, of sin. There's those that open front doors to make me feel at home, and those that send a random text so I know I'm not alone. There's the happy child, the blissful one. Yes, she's opened up my eyes. She's calm, she's tranquil, sent to me, and she soothes my battle cries. These tools are what have made me. They've built me firm and strong, and they've lured the phoenix to rise and amplified a peacock song. Because tools are made for talking. That's not all they do. One of these days, these tools, they're going to make me break on through. Cheers.
That was absolutely brilliant from Leon the Pig Farmer. Really enjoyed it. So, I don't always ask this question, well I seldom do because you never get an answer, but is there actually a story behind the name? Does Liam the Pig Farmer have his own farm? Or?
Yeah, there's no farm, there's no pigs, there's, and I'm not even called Leon. There's a couple of reasons really. I was in the army years ago and there was obviously security issues and people sometimes had a pretend job and a pretend name to avoid it, and I had a friend who's he's still serving, medium high ranking officer, and he used the name once, Leon the Pig Farmer, back in the 90s, and it kind of stuck, and I used to ask him how he was as a third person every now and then. And then when I started this and someone said to me, you need a name just to use, something that's catchy, and the first thing that came into my head was Leon the Pig Farmer. It had them links to because most of my stuff comes out about post-traumatic stress, and it had the military connection. It had the name Leon, which you can't see, but I've got a certain haircut, and I've had the names Liam and Noel shouted down the street a few times, whether it would wind up as a compliment, I don't know. So I thought Leon was quite suitable, really. And
how did you start writing? Was that about mental health to begin with? Or?
Yeah, I started writing in only April last year, so was that 9 months ago?
Yeah.
I basically had a total meltdown. Went to my doctors. First thing the nurse said was get out walking, clear your head, before you can get into the process of cognitive behaviour therapy and seeing a doctor for medication. And so I did, and then I found that after a couple of weeks of unravelling my head, walking around Saddleworth Moor, I got a bit of a cadence and a bit of a beat, and these words just started coming out of my head. Sure. So I started writing a journal, thinking it'd be good to do this because of whatever I'm feeling inside and whatever's going on in my head, so I can deal with it, and whenever it comes I can tell anyone that I need to what I'm feeling. And then I just started writing it in, and it came out as some sort of rhyming verse because of the rhythm that I was getting with walking, and I wasn't doing it slow like an ex-Scotty, and that I was getting some pace on up the hills and that, so it got a bit of a good rhythm, and that's why a lot of the stuff I do has a similar cadence and similar rhythm, and I do write a lot when I'm out walking, which I continually do to keep clear head mentally. And
so did you find CBT really useful then?
Yeah, I'm still in the middle of it. And some of the quotes that my therapist has given me comes out in some of my words or a description of a coping mechanism, and I use it when and how to deal with a flashback or how to deal with an anxiety or panic attack, and that the positivity of that stuff comes into some of the words I use. Sure. And I'm 10 sessions in, and it's one of those things I'm talking about it openly that this toxic masculinity that we go through in this day and age, they've bottled it all up. I was a victim of that, and I try and get that out there that you don't need to bottle it all up these days. If you're feeling alright, you go see a doctor. Exactly. And I was a victim of the masculine side, an ex-squaddy, working class lad, and no, I won't see a doctor, you know what I mean? And it's no different if you do some badness to your arm, your leg, you go see a doctor. So if it came to a point where I went to see someone, and I'm on my journey as we speak, and I continue to write about that journey.
Sure. And do you read poetry from other poets that have suffered mental health issues? Have you found anyone else that's been involved?
Not really. I've been put onto someone recently that I've had a connection with, that's an ex-serviceman who writes stuff. my stepdad, his dad wrote a lot about Dunkirk, and I've read some of his stuff. And I don't really read. I never read. I was never had a major interest in poetry before this. So I'm starting to explore now and finding that I have got an interest in creative writing and a creative verse. So it's something that I really need to explore, because more of my influences come more from lyrics and music side, because I've got a lot of interest in mates in bands and musicians, and I kind of follow their view on social commentary as opposed to someone that maybe a poet would write.
So are there any particular artists that have like inspired you or inspired your style of writing?
I wouldn't say inspired, but the people I kind of enjoyed when I grew up was people like Ian Jury from the Blockheads, and Mark E. Smith from the Fall, who weren't really singers in bands, but they had, even Ian Brown, they've got a good take and an observation on life, and they've got a good eye for what's going on, and they commentate socially very well, and what's current or what's going on, and they put that word across very well in a spoken word with music, I think.
And when you're writing poetry, does it come as just like little verses here and there, or does it spill out as one massive poem? How does it usually work?
I think when I'm walking, it can just splurt out. Most of my stuff I try and keep a similar style of, whether it be 8 4-line verses or 12. It's easy for me to remember, because I like to remember stuff and get, when I'm performing, do it off book a lot of the time if I'm doing the performance side. So it's an easier method for me, but sometimes it'll be just a word, or it'll be a line, and I'll see something on a wall, and I'll take that and I'll think, I like that. Or if it's a quote from someone, I'll go read about it and then get my own interpretation on it. But sometimes if it's my own feelings, it can come out all in one. If I'm out walking, I'm feeling down, or a certain incident's happened, I can get something written down within 5-10 minutes.
Great, so you got a couple more poems for us then?
I have, yeah. I'm going to do 2 back to back like I did the last one, and 2 very similar. So the first one's called Even a Monkey Will Fall From a Tree, which is related to a Japanese proverb. My girlfriend's in the room, Sachiko, who's from Japan, and this came to light at the beginning of the year, and following that there's one called The Beat Goes On, and then I'm going to do one called Stranded, which is around a flashback panic attack I had while I was walking nearby where I live, how I coped with it, so that deals with my CBT, and then at the end one called The Devil's Advocate, which is basically me dealing with demons that are panic attacks in the middle of the night. So I'll do it in 2 separate ones, if that's okay.
Yeah, sounds great.
Great. Yeah, so I'm Leon again, and this first one is Even a Monkey Falls From a Tree, and it's followed on with A Beat Goes On. There's the geezer in a long leather coat, a red paisley bandana that's covering his throat. He's got a tilted trilby and an eye so vicious, and he's lurking in the corner of my subconscious. He's a waiter to the world of my emotional dysfunction. He's serving ready meals to my personal destruction. I accept his twisted, malevolent suggestion, and I dine on guilt and a bottle of correction. But when did I let him decide and wait for the bill to restore my pride? Because the menu, it reads like an old damaged story with every attempt to remove my life's glory. This is Twilight Crazy Town. Why should I pay with my voice and sound? So I dig deep, I delve from my 9 out of 10. It's a 3-course feelings to thoughts to actions, and I'll win. But I stop, and I reflect, and I don't collaborate or even reject. I'm intrusive. I ask my thoughts why, and I don't contemplate or listen to lies. Because do they serve you? Do they get in the way? Do they deserve you? Can those thoughts stay? And don't be ashamed of what you've done. Be punching proud of what you've become. I confront stories of a tiger and hunter, of the mice and the honey, and they make me wonder. A pauper farmer and his broken son, and there's those of wild horses and what the army has done. I'm going to fold paper into fighter planes because they're flying fox to help, not blame. And I won't let this cash cow grind me down, because I'm going to take back my orb and my thornless crown. But I'll pour water on your flames of suppression. I'll pour petrol on hopes because they burn with passion. I'll restore cracks with glistening gold. It's a unique history and a story to be told. Because the reaper, he sits with a rusty blade. He's frowning, he's cowering, because our futures are made. Because here's a message that I'll give to you. Saromo Kikara Achiru. Because even the monkey will fall from a tree. Even my monkey fell from a tree. And even I fell from the tree. Because the beat must go on. Because shapeshifters, they lingered on the stairs and they crawled the walls, because I don't care. techno. It filled my darkened room, but now I danced to my own tune. There was a silent disco in my head, and it thumped and it pumped in my dank, rank bed. But a sugar-coated little dancer, it flipped me over to a new beat master. There was 28 little ones lying in that bed, but roll over, the demon said. But I stamped my foot, I cleared the clouds, and there's no more demons, now I'm dressed in shrouds. The doctor and the medic suggested more, but I ain't no pill-popping pharmacy whore, and I want to alight the prescription train and avoid one soulful and avoid the rain. I'm cutting and pasting all my signs, I'm juggling jingles in my mind. I changed the reel to suit the suitor, but I've got a new soundtrack to a brand new juncture. I'm going to show you a circle with a cross. It's a 4-track single that explains my loss. There's a grounding mantra on side B and on side A. I can smell the sleeve. There's a melancholy tune to hide the tears, and I beat the fun drum to please the peers. I sold the anthems that belong to me, but I'm going to reclaim my identity. So I restart my heart with about 120, cause staying alive, cause in life there's plenty. Press me chest, feel the beat. I'm that red post box in Manchester on Corporation Street. Cheers. That's the first two. The second two I'm going to do is called Stranded and Devil's Advocate, and this one is about a panic attack and a flashback. I'm stranded on a newfound path. It's a short, sharp reminder of the aftermath. A helicopter hovered in the burnt peat hills. I need to stop the toxic, traumatic treadmill. A castle, a quarry, to the reservoir. It's reminiscent of the Romeos in South Armagh. And I drop and drift to a rancid reflection, and it's time to decide with identity correction. Smoke screens and mirrors and a voice to muzzle, and the jigsaw pieces will solve the puzzle. And I look straight down, the boots are brown, and I pivot to a lens, there's no sniper found. I'm hands-free, I'm not shackled to metal, and the weight on my shoulders is light as a petal. There's no chimp on my back to make me crack, no smile from a joker to cut the slack. No wait-out call from another mum's son, and the hills don't have eyes, I'm back to old wooden ones. So I escape the portal of travelling in time. There's no contact call that's going to blow my mind. I look to the pike, to the pots and pans, and there's no need for Winthrop around these farms. So I'm staring to the white rose land, no threat or thirst or hate demands. I drop my shoulder, I jump the ditch, and I murder the miles and I forget that itch. I'm safe in the thought of the pissed on ashes. I command the ground and the Indian's feathers. The skeleton ghost that's turned me to stone and has given me the key to live and learn. Because I no longer need that devil. Because my heart is now presented with a black and tortured soul, and I'm instructing Lucifer to go and ride on home. I'll unhinge, remove myself from the ebony cross. I'll extract those nails one by one, and my hands will be held aloft. So go on then, Diablo, let that dog off the leash, because I'm going to stare into its bloody jaws and break its effing teeth. My black sheep fingers are burned, but still placed on a trigger. You're a darkened silhouette. I'm a lonely standing figure. So come on then, old Nick. I'm not afraid of this. I'll grip you, I'll choke you, and I'll silence your snake hiss. I'm going to escort you from my party and vanquish you, because it's my life. But you think you can extinguish my candle in the night? So come on then, darkened prince. You think you can shine brighter? Well, I'm the fierce dog, now I'm a battler and I'm a fighter, and I will not be imprisoned or suffering a golden silence. My cemetery gates are ripped open. I'm going to dance without a shyness. So we sit here now, Baphomet, and you've played your final ace. I'm healing, you're deceiving. And do you know what? I'll spit in your bloody face. Cheers. That's the last few from me from Leon until the next set. Thank you very much.